So we're going to start talking about what they mean. Parallel lines, the thing that you need to know for this class is they have the same slope. Only thing I care about for parallel is that they have the same slope. Okay, so whenever I ask you what does parallel mean, in this class it means same slope. Perpendicular means to flip and change the slope. Okay, so parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular, you have to flip and change the slope, and we'll talk about what that means coming up next. Okay, so right here, M, y'all know, stands for slope. This little symbol is the parallel symbol. So if -3 is my slope, what would be the parallel slope to -3? -3, because it is the same. Perpendicular, you have to flip and change. Let me show you before you shout out what I mean by that. I want you to put a 1 underneath the original number, and then I want you to flip it. So the 1 goes on top and the 3 goes on the bottom. That's what I mean by flip it. I'm not there yet. Change the slope means it goes from a negative to a positive. That's what I mean by change. Positive and negative changes. This whole number is negative. This whole number is positive, is what it goes to. Okay. All right. For the next one, we've got 2/5 is my slope. Andrew, what would be the parallel slope? Stephanie, what do I need to do for perpendicular? Good. You have to flip it and make it negative. Thank you. Okay. All right, Julius, what would be my parallel slope to 1? 1, good. All right, guys, for this one, you can put a 1 underneath if you want, but 1/1, what happens when you flip that? It's still 1/1. However, it was positive, so it has to become negative, so be careful with that. Caitlin, what is the parallel slope to -1/6? Yep. Louis, what would be the perpendicular to this? Good. You could also just put 6. Either one is fine. Doesn't matter. Elizabeth, oh, nope, we got to talk about this one. All right. Guys, zero slope is one of our special ones. Remember, zero slope goes straight across. So zero slope is one of our special ones. The parallel to 0 would still be 0. Here's what you have to be careful, though. Zero slope. Perpendicular would go like that, straight up and down. What kind of slope is that? Anybody? No slope. So you need to be careful. Zero slope turns into no slope. Zero slope turns into no slope. Okay. So are the following lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Okay. Remember, in this class, anytime you see a line in this format, it's called standard form. Anytime we see a line like this, we need to draw our line and circle Y every time and solve it. Okay. Zach, what moves to the other side? And it becomes? Natasha, what else do you do? Gavin, that's your warning. I don't care. You got to get rid of this 2. How can you get rid of this 2? All right, so I get Y equals. Sarah, what would my Y equals be on this one? Positive or negative? So negative 1x. Okay. This one is already in Y equals form, so we don't need to do any work to it. Okay, so let's talk about this question. Are the following lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Rebecca, what did we say parallel meant? Same slope. Levi, what did we say perpendicular meant? flip and change. Okay, so what we need to look at is the slopes. That's it, just the slopes. So Elizabeth, what is the slope of this line? We'll just put -1. So the slope is -1. Neve, what is the slope of this line? Good, -1. Julius, that's your warning. You need to raise your hand. All right, this and this are the same. So how do we answer this question? What's the answer to the question? Parallel. You can write parallel. You may also do the parallel symbol. Yes, Gavin? Yes. So you're comparing this one to this one. Since they have the same slopes, the answer is parallel. They're parallel lines. Yes, Stephanie? All right. Number 2, determine if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Allison, what do I need to do to this? Good. Help me solve that, Allison. What would I do? Okay. Because what are you going to do with the 3? Divide it. When you divide, you don't change the signs. So you're going to divide by -3. Okay, divide by -3. When you divide, keep it whatever number is there. Okay, Mary, what's that going to give me for my y equals? Good. Okay. Gavin, help me with this one. It becomes what? Okay. What else do I do? What am I doing with that? Keep it -6. You're dividing by -6 all the way across. James, what does that give you for your y equals? Okay. All right. Stephanie, how do I know if they're parallel? What do I have to know? Yep, the slope would be the same. So Sarah, what is the slope of this first line? Very good. Natasha, what is the slope of this line? -1/3. Guys, is +1/3 and -1/3 the same thing? No, so they're not parallel. To be perpendicular, Louis, what do you have to do to be perpendicular? You have to flip it. 1/3, when you flip it, what does it become? Did they do that? No, so it's not perpendicular either. So what does that mean? Neither. Okay, it means neither. Yes? Number 3, determine if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Andrew, tell me about this line. Thank you. Julius, tell me about this line. 8x plus 4y equals 14. James, no, Julius, finish this one, then I'll call on James. Julius, finish this. What do I have to do? Then what? All right, Julius, does 14 divide by 4? Good. I want a fraction. And then what? What about right here, though? What do you get? -8 divided by 4. And I have to put an x with it. Okay? All right, James, how do I know if they're parallel? What do I have to look at? The slopes. So, Rebecca, what is the slope of this first line? And Gavin, what is the slope of this line? -2. Okay. All right, Elizabeth, are they parallel? Why not? They're not the same. Okay. Levi, how do we know if they're perpendicular? What do they have to be? Flipped and change the signs. So guys, just start with one of them. I just start with the first one. What happens when you flip 1/2? What does it become? And the positive becomes a negative. -2 divided by 1, is that -2? Yes. So these are perpendicular. Parallel are the same. Perpendicular are the flipped. Okay? All right. Number 4, what is the perpendicular slope to the line whose equation is x minus 3y equals negative 12? Allison, what should I circle in that question? Very good. Perpendicular slope. Mary, what do I have to do first when I see something like this? X minus 3y equals negative 12. I have to solve it. Every time, guys, you need to solve it. So, Mary, how do you solve that? What do you do? Okay. Zach, what will you get for your y equals? Good. Okay. All right, Caitlin, how am I going to get the perpendicular slope? What's the slope of it right now, Caitlin? 1/3 is my slope, so I'm going to put m equals 1/3 so people can get a visual. And Caitlin, how do I make it perpendicular? What do I have to do? What's it become? Positive or negative? Negative. So my answer, the final answer is -3/1. What else would I accept? -3. Okay. All right. Number 5, what is the parallel, please circle that, to the line x equals -3? Yes, Gavin? This one, I would recommend using Yoxin. So right now, it's an x equals. So what is the slope that goes with x? None. Okay, so right now, the slope is no slope. The question says, what is the parallel? What do I have to do to get the parallel slope? What's parallel? It's just the same thing. So the answer to this is still no slope. Okay, so x equals is no slope. Since it's parallel, we keep it the same. All right? All right, now it wants to know the perpendicular slope. Perpendicular means you have to change it, flip and change. Does anybody remember from the very beginning of the lesson, what's the opposite of no slope? 0 slope. You can put the number or you can write it out. I don't care. Okay. All right, number 6. What is the parallel slope to y equals 5? So this is one of our special cases. It's y equals just a number. So let's do Yoxin. Neve, what is the slope of a y equals? 0. Stephanie, what do we have to do if it's parallel? So the answer would just be 0. Okay. Zach, what about for perpendicular? What do we have to do? Okay, how do we flip 0? What does it become? No slope. Okay, so in this particular circumstance, the opposite of 0 is no slope. The opposite of no slope is 0 slope. Okay, so those are the opposites of each other. Okay. Questions? All right, last 2, I think. Number 6, are the following lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Louis, how do I know if something's parallel, perpendicular, or neither? What do I have to look at? The what? Allison, what do you have to look at to know if something's parallel or perpendicular? The slope. So, guys, to answer this question, what do I have to know about each of these sets of points? The slope, okay? Louis, what's the slope formula? Y minus y over x minus x. All right, I want everybody to be typing in their calculator, but Andrew, tell me what you get for the slope of line A. I should see everybody type in. And Levi, tell me what you get for the slope of line B, but everybody should be working both of those out. Neve, are those parallel lines? Why not? They're not the same, so they're not parallel. Mary, are they perpendicular? Yep, why are they perpendicular? Good. If you flip 6 over 1, you get 1 over 6, and this one is positive and this one is negative, okay? So these are perpendicular. You can use the perpendicular symbol, or you can write perpendicular, okay? All All right, number 7, Rebecca, what do I have to find out about line A and line B? The slope. Okay, so parallel and perpendicular is all about the slope. About that slope, about that slope. All right, Caitlin, how do I find the slope of line A? Good. Y minus y over x minus x. So 5 minus -7, 1 minus -3. This is line A. I should see everybody typing, but I want Elizabeth to give me the answer for B. I mean for A, Elizabeth. And Natasha, give me the answer for B. What you got, Elizabeth? Do y'all agree with that? Okay. Natasha, what you got? +3? Sarah, are those parallel? Sarah? Julius, why are they parallel? Because they're the same. Okay.